Hey y'all, how y'all doing? So I'm trying not to freak out. Normally, I do not at the last minute have to get things ready with my show. Welcome to season 2. So I initially when I was planning the episodes for the Crown by Nichele podcast, again, I thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. So initially, when I was planning season 2, I was thinking, being that this is my platform, I've never done an episode with just me. So I think after every so many episodes, whether it's 6, because last season we did 13, which you can access all of those on these platforms. I'm on Apple. Finally, I'm on Apple Podcasts. Whoop whoop. Apple Podcasts. You can find me on Amazon Music. You can find me on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podcast Index. That's something new I learned about. And of course, YouTube. YouTube, this actually is streaming on YouTube as we speak right now. It's streaming on Instagram and it is streaming on Facebook. And matter of fact, I would go on my phone. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it from my computer. I am going to reshare the image. But initially when I was thinking, I was like, I've never done an episode by myself. So why don't I do that for the first one? And then after every so many episodes, maybe 6 or so, then I'll do an episode with just me talking about things going on with me and whatnot. So I pretty much use this as a platform to introduce other people. So excuse me when I'm trying to do 2 things at one time. I'm on TikTok right now, going live. Even though I will admit, y'all can't see the video, but I'll share what I'm talking about on the video. But if you want to see the actual overlays that I'm going to show on the screen, you definitely want to go on. Find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on YouTube, Ryan N. Jenkins. I also realized I need to put, of course, if you want to follow me, I'm on social media. I'm on, of course, all those platforms I just told you about when it comes to my podcast, but also TikTok. You know, TikTok is going away. Threads, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. Even though I'll admit I'm not sure about Blue Sky. I'm not sure about Blue Sky. But matter of fact, I'm gonna have the banner go down at the bottom so y'all can see. But you can find me on all social media platforms under Ryan N. Jenkins. Another thing that I'm gonna put up every now and again, and matter of fact, I'm gonna put it on Instagram. I'm gonna put it everywhere if I can in the comments. For those who don't know, I am currently, and matter of fact, I'm sorry, y'all. I just realized I am just discombobulated. So let me tell you what I did last night. And this was like a random moment. I very rarely do concerts like at the last minute. But I was buying, my mom mentioned going to the Alvin Ailey production I don't think they've been in Greenville yet, but they're gonna be. And for whatever reason, she decided she didn't want to go to the Greenville one. So I said, well, what about, I see there's some dates in Charlotte. So why don't we go to Charlotte? And she had to check her schedule. And there we go. And we ended up, and then while I'm on there buying tickets for her to go to Alvin Ailey, I come across his former name is Christian Scott, and he now goes by Chief Ajua, and I might be saying his name wrong, but he's a jazz artist. But to call him jazz is so much more than that. If you really listen to his music, it's so much more than jazz. And when I say that was a bomb concert last night, oh my gosh. So I went to Charlotte last night, bought the tickets Thursday night. What was crazy though, they made it seem like the gallery where I was sitting at was so high up. If you've ever been in the booth house at the Charlotte Blumenthal Art Center, or I feel like I'm saying wrong, the Belk. It's like the Belk Center. I know it's called the Blumenthal Arts, and they have different areas. So the booth house is a smaller venue, but where the gallery is, you're looking right over the stage. Like it's really right there. So I know that for next time when I want to buy seats, whenever I go to one event at the booth house. So next thing that I want to tell y'all about is I am right now, I'm so excited about this, y'all. Let me go back because StreamYard is different than it was before. Media assets. For those of you who don't know, I am a published author. So right now I am currently doing pre-orders for A Blessing for the World. Matter of fact, I'm going to put in the comments where you can order. I'm going to put the link. I'm going to do that on TikTok and on here. Which I should already have the stuff ready. I know y'all, but side story. So I get up this morning thinking I am going to go pick up my dry cleaning because one of the things I had dry cleaned was my, what's the word I want to say? An outfit I'm wearing tomorrow for church. It's a certain color scheme we're doing for our choir tomorrow. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna wear that shirt. Not realizing that whenever they say, come pick up your dry cleaning, it's after 3. I didn't realize that. So because of that, I totally may not be getting that outfit or that particular shirt because I don't think I'm leaving this house again today. I might be wrong. So I'm going to do it on TikTok too. But if you go to my website, which is Ryan N. Jenkins at RyanNJenkins.com, which is the same thing, you'll find me on social media. You will see if you click on books, you will see a link at the top where you can pre-order books. Let me see if I can do it on Instagram too, because I just realized I cannot post comments. There we go. I may have to do it on Facebook too. Because I don't see it posted it as it was on Instagram, but I don't see it on Facebook. And maybe it's on everywhere and I just don't see it. So I did it everywhere just now. So let me tell y'all briefly about these books. Now I'll admit, Blessing for the World was not going to be a thing. It was going to be honestly a book. Before I had Joshua, I want to say like a month or 2 before Joshua was born, I was in anticipation of having him and seeing all these newborns. And I just like, oh my gosh, I need my child. Like, when is he going to be born? He actually came 2 weeks early. And so initially I wrote some poems while I was pregnant with him, in anticipation with him. So I wanted to write a picture book based on that. And then when I finally decided on an artist, who was Naima Whitted, who is currently a freshman, she actually was classmates with Joshua. When I decided I wanted to use her as my illustrator, the moment I decided I wanted to use her as my illustrator, when I finally found an illustrator and got prices and whatnot, it was around the time that both her and Joshua were graduating from high school. So it only made sense that I would write this story. It's called A Blessing for the World. It's what I call a love letter to our Black sons. So I initially wanted to show y'all some of the images from the book, but no, wait a second. Wait 1 second. My bad, y'all. So, so one of my this is your title page, A Blessing for the World. And the whole premise of this book is just letting kids know, our boys and the girls can read this book too, even though I'm addressing he is a blessing for the world. It can be formed for she. You can, your girls can read it too. But it's just letting them know you are a blessing. No, it doesn't matter that you make mistakes. No, it doesn't matter that you are going to have bad days. It doesn't matter the fact that you have some kids, and I taught them, who's students who they didn't care about school, but that didn't mean that they weren't a blessing. Then you have the opposite of the kids who were overzealous and they had to get the high grades and the overachievers. You're still a blessing to the world. You still have something to offer. So one of my favorite images that she did, and what I love about Naima, is the fact that I gave her the poem laid out. Okay, this is going on these particular pages. And she just sketched whatever. And it was beautiful. So, like this one line right here: baggy jeans, slim fits, hoodies, tailored suits, tattoos, multiple piercings. And I go on to talk about how they dress, but you're still a blessing for the world. So this is the image she came up with. So you see the little boy drawing a tattoo on himself. Ironically, my child, my 18-year-old, has several tattoos. Notice how I pause, because I'm still. Now this one is my favorite image of all the images. Locks, twist out curls, cornrows, braids, low fade. He is a blessing who is right for the world. So if you look at this image, y'all. Look what she did here. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't this beautiful? So again, it's just, and of course, the last page, with some of you who have been online with me have seen. Who do y'all think the last page looks like? Yes, my baby. That's him with all his cords. Yes. So this one is available for pre-order. I'm actually putting in another set of pre-orders on the 24th, which is this Friday. So please get it in. I'm very grateful. I have a goal to get at least 50 pre-orders of this and reverse. So I'm about halfway to my goal. So I would love you to help me meet my goal. So again, A Blessing for the World. You can get it in hardcover and you can get a paperback. You do have both of those options. If you want to get an autographed copy, you definitely want to get it in by the 24th, because they take a little bit longer to print the hardcovers than they do the paperback. The actual release date is going to be February 10th. I know some people have been asking me, are you going to do a book signing? Are you going to do a book signing? I will get with like bookstores to do book signings. As far as like setting up a venue and doing an event, I'm indifferent about it, only because of the vision I have for it is much bigger than a book signing. Let me just put that out there, okay? So I'm actually going to be meeting with some people within the next week or two to find out how exactly I want to do this, because I have a love letter for my boys. Of course, you don't have to make a love letter for my girls. So that is picture book number 2, children's book number 2, book number 6 that will come out. I'm aiming for March, but it might be as late as April. So I want to launch those 2 together, I think. So we will see what happens with that. But that one's called Heaven's Jewel. I don't have a cover yet, because I just gave it to my illustrator, Naima, this week, the poem. And she started working on sketches this week. And I know she's moving in school today. So, and again, she's in school full time. So we're good. We're good. We're good. So if you have any comments or have any questions, definitely please say anything in the thing. I'm going to go back and forth just to see. Hey, Vanice, Jasmine. So what next? Oh, I have a show coming up, y'all. This is the first time in a long time. Eventually this year, I will put on my own show. But I got to learn some things, and I got to research some things. I need to figure out how I can sit where y'all can see my shirts. Okay. So I just realized it doesn't show the way I want it to. Let me go mirror my camera. There we go. I don't know if I did that right, but it's called Blood Washed. I actually got this. I don't know if y'all heard of Autumn, Poets in Autumn. They're they travel and they do spoken word, but it's almost borderline sketch, but with poetry. And it's a host of different poets. Matter of fact, that's where I discovered Jackie Hill Perry. Before you knew her as a pastor, I didn't go to the show when she was in it. I'm mad I missed that era when she was a part of it. But it was her. I can't think of the other young lady's name, but she had red hair. That's when I discovered her, because you would see like excerpts of them and them performing together. So I actually went to go see a show. That was about 2 years ago. They came to Charlotte. That was a dope show. Like, I would love to do something like that. Like, while I was sitting in the booth house last night in Charlotte, I immediately thought about, this is a dope venue for some type of spoken word event. Not necessarily a slam, but a performance showcase of just dope talent. The Harbison Theater here in Columbia, that venue is a beautiful spot to have. Is the seating and the vastness of it. So it's a lot of places I look forward to meeting with people and combining forces so we can put on shows. But my next event, y'all, is going to actually be in Lake City, South Carolina. It's going to be this Saturday on the 25th. Matter of fact, I need to get my piece ready for that particular event. I've been so focused on the book I'm going to tell you about in a second. But it starts at 3:00. You have her name is not on the flyer. And I want to make sure I tell y'all the right name. But her name, I want to say, is LaTanya Thompson, but I feel like I'm saying the name wrong. But y'all, for those of you who are on Facebook and on Instagram, that's her face, her beautiful face. All those quilts. Let me see if y'all can see it. Y'all can't see it well. Never mind. My bad. But all those quilts, y'all, she made those. She literally puts artwork on quilts. The way she sews it. And like, she actually, at one point, we were at some event and she was on the spot sewing, and we could see how it was, y'all, it is beautiful. So she came to us. Oh, I can't remember exactly the month, but I remember she came to a group of us who we all traveled together to different events through New Danger. And it's actually called the Endangered Arts Collective. And New Danger also is a group of poets that hang out and we perform at different venues. And she came to, it was me, Karen, Maureen K, I think is the other one. I want to say it's Brittany too, but it's about 4 or 5 of us who are going to be performing poetry based on her quilt. So the quilt that I picked is actually called HBCU. But I picked 2 of them, so I have to go back. I don't know. We'll see. Like, she did one that was featured, that was John Lewis for his birthday. I keep on forgetting he was a Sigma. So she did artwork for him. She did one for a Billie Holiday, I want to say. So it's a pretty dope. So again, it's Saturday, January 25th at 3:00 at Accline, Accline Studios. And that is on 132 North Accline Street. So there is no fee to come in, but definitely come and spot it out. And that's actually an art studio where they house different artists. And it's pretty a dope space. We were there for another event. We were saluting Nikki Giovanni. And we performed pieces by her, and then we performed our own work. So I've already told y'all about A Blessing for the World. I also want to tell you about some of the things that I do. So, like I told y'all before, I'm an author, spoken word artist, and poet. Keep in mind, when it comes to spoken word, I'm a clean poet, so you're not going to hear me curse. You're not. Family oriented. But I'm also that spoken word artist. I have done multiple, wrong Wrong thing. Let me hide that. So I've done events. Matter of fact, I see Deneen is on here. Deneen was one. I want to say Deneen was my first person who hired me to do a birthday party. Her daughter was turning 16, and because I had a relationship with Deneen and her daughter, I was able to write a piece easily, saluting her and her walking into a new phase of her life. I've had other commission performances where there was a young lady who her father was turning 70, and I sat on a phone call with her and her sister and asked them questions about their father and was able to write a poem. I do stuff like that. Of course, it's at a fee, but I do work like that. But I also perform. I'll admit I'm not the artist who performs everything by memory, but when I perform, you're going to feel the fire on stage. That's just what's going to happen. I'm also a motivational speaker. I'll admit I have not been booked for a motivational speaker. I've been working with girls for years, and I've done events with them where I have to speak into them and speak life into them. So that's definitely something I believe I can do. Educator. No, I'm not in the classroom, but I'm forever an educator where if you need me to come to your school and do some workshops with your teachers, I taught ELA for, I think 15 years. I lose math. I taught a total of 20 years. I taught AVID, I think 5 years. So that means I taught ELA for 14 years. So I taught English language arts for middle school, mostly. I take that back. I did 8th grade only 1 year, but I did mostly 7th grade. I taught 6th grade, I think my first 2 years of teaching. And then the latter end of me before I taught AVID, I taught ELA. From novel studies to writing, making sure you're teaching culturally relevant texts to your kids, writing exercises. I'm definitely a writing coach when it comes to students and teachers. I also taught AVID. AVID is a college and career readiness course. So, of course, I've taken some tools from them, tools to help your kids get better prepared, tools to help your teachers get better prepared, to help your kids know exactly what they need to do. So when they graduate from high school, they don't just go to something because they have to, but they have options. And that's what AVID is all about. I'm not an AVID employee, but I know of AVID strategy, which if you really think about it, AVID is best practices. It really is best practices. So again, I can come into your schools and do writers workshops. I can also come in your school as an author. I can do author visits where I talk about my book. I share my experiences, but also do writers workshops with these kids along with previewing my book. Of course, my books will be available for sale. Another thing that I do that education and writing consultant. If you are in the process of publishing a book or wanting to self-publish, I am your girl. I am your woman. I am your queen. Hey, Kim. Hey, Toya. I don't know everybody on here. I've been missing everybody. So I have self-published not 1, not 2, not 3. Technically 3. Technically 3 books. This is book number 4, and this technically is still out. This book is out. You can't get it now, but it's been published. Okay, it won't be released until the 10th. Then you have Reverse, which is book 5. That's coming out February 24th. I'm gonna tell you about that book in a second. Then you have Eminence, which I'm gonna tell you about that book too. Eminence is book 6. So I have gone through the publishing process with 3 books, and in the process of by the end of March, I would have self-published 6 books. So and it tripped me out. It was yesterday. I was in the barbershop with my barber / brother, who he will be on. I can't remember what episode, but he's on one of the episodes coming up. I know it's on February 18th at 8:00. We'll be streaming live. And one of his barbers walked by, and he was like, "Yeah, Ryan, I want to write a book. Help me write a book." And then the guy, his barber, said, "You got to get a publishing company." I said, "No, you don't. You can self-publish." And he kind of looked at me. Like, it amazes me people don't know about self-publishing. Like, self-publishing is a thing. You don't have to wait for someone to publish. Now, there are some, and let me pause right there and talk about that. That's where my expertise comes into play. There are some advantages and disadvantages to publishing and self-publishing. I don't want to go into this in detail because I've done this before, but I want to give you a brief synopsis. The main difference, not one is better than the other as far as one is more superior than the other. The main reason why some people choose to self-publish is because no one has picked me up and I'm tired of waiting on people. And I have control. Also, when you become a self-published author, at the end of the day, you're creating a business. Because you have to promote that book. You, as a result of you selling that book, depending on what type of book it is, people may want to bring you in as a guest speaker to speak on your expertise. There's so many revenues that can generate from self-publishing along with traditional publishing. And let me backtrack. When you traditionally publish, the publishing company funds your book. They are funding your book. They are paying for your editor. They are paying for marketing, and they may give you an advance up front, and you will make a small portion of other sales. They're just trying to recoup their money. Unlike self-publishing, I put my money out there. Like I was telling my illustrator, I'm going to pay her for half of the books. It only makes sense. This book is not selling without her beautiful artwork. Okay. So, but I can't pay her until I've recouped all my money back because I had to pay her every time I had to order a book to see what it looked like. This is one of the jacked up ones. This is not the official copy of the book. The other one is in my car. So every time I had to order a book to make sure the layout was fine, formatting, I had to pay for all that. The fact that I have Canva, that's a business expense, I had to pay for that. So I had to account for all those costs. When I did my marketing photo shoot, this is the picture, one of the pictures right here. That's from that marketing photo shoot that I did about 2 months ago. I had to pay for that. So until I recoup my costs, and then I'll be able to pay her out. So again, the other thing with self-publishing versus traditional publishing, and I heard Shauna Miles, if you're not already following her, Shauna Miles, you can find her anywhere, but she actually is a graduate of Ridgeview High School. Whoop, whoop, go Blazers. And she's traditionally published 3 books. I've read For All Time. I need to read her other 2. But I have 2 of them. The House, I think it's called The House. I don't want to mess it up, but it's based in Charleston. And I know the second book is based in Savannah. The first book is based in Columbia, South Carolina. But Shauna Miles was saying how when it comes to publishing, you do not, okay, my child, I tell him I was doing a podcast. He is.
Yo, Mom.
Okay, you just interrupted my podcast, but go ahead.
But I need to cash up the people, and I'll take money out my account. My cash app's not linked to my bank right
Why
now.
you mean you got to cash app them?
Because I don't have a card or my wallet. I don't have my card on me.
So they take cash app?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you text me their cash app and how much the price is?
It's $180. I'm about to show you right now.
Hold on, because I'm actually live and hold on one second.
Oh, my fault.
My bad, y'all. So that was my wannabe grown child. I'm not gonna do this. I want to gripe about this so bad. How you That's totally threw me off, but I'm gonna bring it back. So what was I talking about before I got kicked off? Because he FaceTimed me, so it kicked me off. Oh, publishing and self-publishing. So again, she was saying how you don't have control over your cover and you don't have control over your title. Like I just got through reading a book by Ibi Saboa, which you have not read a book by Ibi Saboa, you are behind the times. That's another thing I want to start doing on here too, is doing book talks. Ibi Saboa does not go wrong at all. I would do a quick book talk, but I'm gonna wait towards the end to do that because I'm trying to stick in my time and make sure I cover everything I said I was gonna cover today. But I just read her book, My Life as an Ice Cream Sandwich. I didn't get the title until maybe halfway through the book. I don't like titles like that. And honestly, that's nothing against her, but I'm pretty sure, and I don't know if she picked the title or not. I didn't research to see. But I felt like it should have been called something else because that was definitely prevalent throughout the book. Because the book, the nickname Ice Cream Sandwich was the nickname that her friends at the time gave her, or her wannabe friends. And that bothered me. Because when I was reading, I was like, what the heck? Because I'm one of those people, how does this title turn into this? I mean, translate in this book. And usually her titles translate immediately with her books. That the book was still good now. It's one of her funniest books that I've read in a very long time. But so that's what happens when you were traditionally published. But also with traditionally published, because they're funding it, you also get marketing. Like the fact that you see Jason Reynolds on CBS this mornings, I want to say Aisha Curry, her and Steph Curry launched a publishing company. I forgot what the name of the company they launched it with, but they're helping more diverse authors get out there. So there are advantages. And I've seen people who they've self-published, and because they were so successful, a publishing company came to them and said, hey, we want to help you. We want to do this. We want to rock with you. And I've heard of people who they went over to the other side and it worked for them because you do less work as a traditionally published author. Self-published, I'm doing more work. And I've also heard stories where people were self-published, went to a traditionally published company and sold less books. So, but one thing I will say with being traditionally published, you do have to do what is called find a literary agent. That's what a lot of things they don't tell y'all. You have to find a literary agent. That literary agent decides whether they want to work with you. And then they're the ones who shop your book around to the different publishing companies, not you. Let me say that again. If you want to be traditionally published, you have to find a literary agent who will work with you. How do you find literary agents? If you go to a lot of your favorite authors, like if you have a particular genre you like to read and you like to write for, go to their websites, go to the authors' websites, and you will see their literary agents listed on their websites. Some of them even put them in their acknowledgement pages in their book. So that's how you decide what literary agents you want to go with, because maybe they can't accept you, but they'll refer you to somebody else. Okay. And I want to say I was afraid to take on that task. I just didn't have any peace about it. And God just led me to publish. And when it comes to publishing, I genuinely, and I've shared this before and I'll share this again, will never forget when I was coming down 77 from an open mic I did with Miss Jeanette Gregory, who she lives in Charlotte, and she was my writing mentor at the time. And I'm coming down 77 on my way to back. I don't know if I was in college or I was there for the summer or what was going on, but I think that was going back down 77. I definitely was still in college and went to university. as I'm coming down, passing under the bridge for the Fort Mill TKK, one of those X's, I heard God said, I called you to write. And he started listing all these things I'm called to write. And I finally feel like I'm at a place now, all that is going to come together, definitely. I'm not just going to write your favorite, one of many picture books, novels, which I'm going to tell you about those novels in a second, poetry anthologies. I'm going to do so much more than that. To the point you're going to see some of my stuff on the screen. I'm so excited for where God is going to take me. And that's why when people are quick to ask me, do you miss teaching? Of course I miss teaching. Anybody knows me, I am diehard. I love my kids. I love teaching. I genuinely poured my heart and soul into what I did. Nevertheless, I heard God clearly when he was like, this is your last year teaching. And I know what he's doing. Now, one thing I will do, and I need to do a better job of, and I've been telling people this all the time, they're like, how's it going? I said, I got to do better time management. Like when you're an entrepreneur and you're self-employed, learning how to manage your time to be more efficient, that is a struggle for me. So I got to work on that. Because I realized I could be writing so much more. Like I'm reading a new book now. It's by Janae Marks. I want to say from the desk of Zoe Washington, I think is the name of the book. I might be wrong. But just reading her book and then reading Ibi Zaboa, I'm realizing I got too much stuff in me just to keep reading people's stuff. I need to write my own stuff. So I'm working on some. So speaking on writing some, matter of fact, let me make sure I covered everything on the flyer. I did. Oh, model. I haven't modeled in years, y'all. But if you think this face is awesome and beautiful, sign me up. But I haven't modeled. I think it's been over 10 years. It's been over 10 years. Okay. Ava's Closet, I think was the last gig I did. It was an African clothing brand. She was from Ghana and she would do fashion shows and I would do her shows. I did at least 2 of her shows. Advocate. I'm still learning how to get into this space, but one of the things I definitely I'm trying to get more, like I want to work more with our government. And when I would say work with our government, find out what the heck they're doing. Like one of the reasons why they're able to pass some of the laws that they pass and do some things they do is we don't know the terminology. We don't understand what's going on. So I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. That's what I should do. That would help. So also I signed up to be part of the group that helps stand against people who want to ban books. I need to be more active with that. I'm an advocate in the sense that I definitely do what is called All Black Author Book Drive. I forgot to download that flyer. That is an ongoing process. If you go to my website, Orion, RIAN, another N, JENKINS.com, and you click events, you will see things about my All Black Author Book Drive. Let me go ahead and put my phone on Do Not Disturb. There we go. Like, and y'all can put in the comments, I don't understand how to turn off your notifications. Like if I turn my sound off on my phone, I don't like how it will pop up on my laptop or on my iPad. I don't want to hear it. I don't mind the notifications, but I don't want to hear it. So how can you turn that off? Unless I guess you turn the sound off. Is that how it works? Tell me. I don't know. But I digress. So as far as the advocate, I sponsor All Black Author Book Drive where I petition Black authors, or I get donations from community members, from people, from family members, and I go out and I buy books. Luckily, the past year, I've been getting donations from actual Black authors and giving them out at different community events. And yeah, so an advocate also is I'm quick to when parents and students and teachers come to me with some concerns, being that I've been in education so long, I can give them valued expertise. Like for instance, when parents come to me and say, my child keeps saying, my teacher hasn't updated grades. The teacher hasn't updated grades. I said, you can look that up, right? And a lot of No, I won't say a lot. Some parents don't know that. So literally, if you are on Parent Portal, those of you who use Parent Portal, Power School, click on the child's grade, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you can see the last time that teacher updated grades. And teachers should be updating grades. That's another podcast by itself. At least once a week. At least once a week. And if teachers, let's be honest, if we can't put in at least one grade per week, one quality assessment grade a week, we need to reevaluate how much work we're giving out in our time management. I'll move on. So, I already told y'all I have 3 poetry anthologies that are already out there. So the first poetry anthology is A Queen's Heart. A Queen's Heart is basically a collection of poetry about spirituality, family love, social issues. I even talk about education. A Queen's Anthem is affirmations written in poetic verse to esteem our queens and princesses. Is basically to remind you of who you are, who you belong to, and the fact that you are more powerful than this world wants you to believe. And then Confessions is basically, if I had the courage to say something, what would I say? So what some of the poems that I deal with in Confessions, like there's one poem, it's called Mama, What Are You Teaching Me? And it's basically inspired based on 2 different instances where I had students come into school terrified, scared, because they witnessed their mom deal with violence from their partner and abuse. So it's like, we don't understand the messages we're translating to our daughters. Another one is a young boy who now is realizing his mom is so fascinated with the new man in her life and not her son. Teachers wondering where our flowers are. So that's what Confessions is. And those are available. You can go through my website, which is what I prefer for you to go through my website. But it's also available. If you type in my name in those books, you will find them on Amazon. I want to say Walmart, Target still has them. They're available anywhere. But of course, you can definitely order it through me. I'll admit, Queen's Anthem, I may only have 1 copy. I have to eventually order some more of those, but I have plenty of Queen's Heart, plenty of Confessions. And I think that's it. So I told y'all with the 20 minutes I have left, I definitely want to tell you the book that I'm currently working on now is called Eminence. So Eminence is speaking of our power, speaking of our boldness, our brilliance. So I actually am behind deadline on that one. I was supposed to have that submitted to my editor as of last Friday, and I kept finding poetry. Then once I found the poetry, I realized I'm only at 70 something. I was like maybe at 71 pages, and I really wanted to make sure I got up to 75. Right now, I think I'm at 91, and I'm still working. So I'm gonna give myself another week. Initially I wanted Eminence to come out in March, but I have a feeling that may be a little bit later because I'm late getting it to her. I ideally would like to finish it this weekend, but there's more poetry in me than I thought. And I have a feeling Eminence is gonna be the last poetry anthology for a hot minute. This will be my 4th one, and I wanna focus more on my fiction and my nonfiction. So speaking of fiction, my first novel, my first novel, Reverse. If you've been following me, you heard about Reverse before, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail. This is also available for pre-order. I'll admit you will not get these books. I'm aiming for February 24th. I got to check in with my editor Monday to see where she is, because I want to say we're at the deadline for her. She told me 10 to 14 days, and I think it's been 10 to 14 days. I might be wrong. But Reverse is a preteen love story based on 2 best friends, Monica and Donovan. It goes through their point of view. And Donovan, give me 1 second. My throat is like, what are you doing? See my lemon water? I need to start doing cucumber water. So Donovan admits to Monica, even though it's been obvious to everyone else except Monica and her father. No, I take that back. Donovan's father wasn't suspecting at all, but the mothers definitely knew that Donovan had a thing for Monica, and he finally confesses his feelings to her because he knows the following school year they're going to the same junior high, which for me growing up, it was middle school, but I made it junior high because I didn't want them going to school together in 6th grade. And some people, junior high starts at 7th and 8th grade. But I digress. But it's called reverse because their love story goes back and forth. 1 minute she's like, I don't think I want to like you like that. Like, this is weird. Then she's like, I do like you like that. But then her dad is like, you can't like him like that. And so that's why it's called reverse, because it just goes back and forth and all over the place. That potentially is going to be a 4-book series. Reverse initially was 2 books in one, and then after using some beta readers, I realized I needed to shorten the book. So you have reverse, you have retreat. I don't know when that's coming out. That is the next book I'm going to work on with my editor. And retreat, and then you have Ricochet. Ricochet is taking Donovan and Monica's best friends, Will and Nicole, who they get together in book 1. But they're that couple that they stay together and they break up together and they stay together. They go back and forth. That's why their book is called Ricochet. And it's exploring their narratives. That one I have not written yet. And then you have Rebound, which I have a feeling Rebound, I think there's going to be a book that comes before Rebound, because Rebound has Monica at about 16. And I think I want a book that's going to happen during her sophomore year. I might be wrong. So Reverse starts out with them around 4th or 5th grade, and then it ends with them being in the 7th grade. Retreat is all of 8th grade. So Ricochet will technically Monica, all of them in 9th grade. So part of me feels like I need to put a book in between there. I just don't know what to do. Because one of the characters, I'm not going to tell you who, one of the characters is going to be gone for at least 2 of the books. So, yeah. So, I was hoping some of y'all had some questions. One thing I'm definitely trying to do a better job of is not going over the whole hour. Because when you upload, which I'm going to show y'all that graphic again, the audio version of this will be on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, iHeart, Spotify, Podcast Index, and YouTube. Buzzsprout will only give you so many hours a month based on the package that I signed up for. So it's like 12 hours, which if you think about it, that's more than enough time. If you really think about it. But I'm trying to keep my podcast at an hour and not go over. Because I found myself the last time I went over and it was only like $4, but it was still a lot. So I'm trying to keep my podcast under an hour. So I see we're at 49 minutes. Let me see if anybody had any questions on Instagram. No. TikTok. I appreciate some of you were sharing the live, which is pretty dope. You like the live. I appreciate that. Eventually, I'm going to start bringing people on live. So I don't know where to go from here. Oh, what's next for me? Like I told y'all, I have a show coming up this Saturday. I'll admit, I have a Valentine's show. I have to get with her. I volunteered my services. Like, I'm not recommending you do this all the time, but sometimes it's worth you telling someone you don't have to pay me just to get yourself out there. So there's a young lady who we used to go to church together, but we're still good friends. Every time I see her in the grocery store, we speak. I don't know why her name is evading me right now, but she puts on a Valentine event. It's almost like it's a forum, it's a dance, they have a band. I want to say Harmon so bad is her last name. And I'm mad that name is evading me. If I wasn't on my phone, I could look it up and tell y'all. And I know I don't have Facebook on my iPad. So, but she has a Valentine event, and I immediately sent her a poem that I did for my niece's wedding. And actually, the poem wasn't specifically for the wedding, but I told my niece I was going to perform. And my niece forgot to tell me I was going to perform, but thankfully I had one in the chamber, as they like to say. And it's called This Is Deeper Than I Love You. And funny story, a lot of people don't know, that actually started when my mom remarried. No, she's not married anymore. When my mom remarried, that poem started with them. And then I just kept adding to it. So it's to me a wedding poem or anniversary poem or a vow renewal poem. So I sent it to her, the performance, which, speaking to my spoken word artists, make sure somebody in the audience is recording you. Like, learn to record yourself every time you perform somewhere, and upload it on YouTube. Like, a lot of people talk about TikTok and Instagram. If you have not noticed, if you follow me on all social media platforms, you are going to see the exact same thing. Blue Sky is an exception because Blue Sky is very minimal on what you can and cannot post. Like, your videos can't be no more than a minute. But the same video I post on TikTok, I will post it on Pinterest, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. YouTube, I'll admit, a lot of people underestimate the value of YouTube. And just subscribers are just another form of followers. And your subscribers may not view your videos, but other people will view your videos. So I'll admit, I'm very excited. I think I'm up to like 170 in subscribers. I know you have to have 1,000. I'm getting there. And I'm not, so it is what it is. But I'm learning, when people come to me and say, well, we would like to hire you, or someone told me about such and such, I just send them the link of my performances on YouTube, because it's easy to act. What I like about YouTube versus like Instagram, even though I think Facebook is trying to do that, where they're now doing playlists, because they're competing with YouTube. But what I like about YouTube, I have playlists. So I have my playlist where I do book talks and I talk about books. I have my playlist where all my spoken word performances, if I'm highlighting something I'm cooking or a place I ate out, I put it on that particular playlist. Even to the point, my teacher talks, when I post moments of me in the classroom, that has a playlist. Same thing with Pinterest. Pinterest has the same thing, but Pinterest is boards. A lot of people think about Pinterest, they think about images. You can put videos on Pinterest. So I put myself on Pinterest too. Pinterest, you just can't use, well, most websites, you can't use the music. They will give you music you can put on there and you can just monitor and adjust. But I digress. So that event, I want to say, is Valentine's Day. I don't know why I'm saying Valentine. It's Valentine's. And I feel like I have another event in February. I really need to look at my calendar. Because I feel like I have something else coming up that I'm supposed to be performing at. But my mind has been so focused on this book, I blocked there's certain things out. But our next podcast episode is going to be this Tuesday. So this Tuesday, make sure you are following me on either Instagram, Facebook, what's the word I want to say? Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Episode 2 is going to feature Tracy Oakman, who is over the mentoring program, Princess Empowerment and Boys to Men. I love mentors. Like anyone who has a mentoring program is a beautiful thing. And I remember someone saying that we need to combine forces and more people need to work together versus us doing our separate things. No, I like that we have smaller knits of mentoring, because when you bring whole groups together like that, it is sometimes, if you're not careful and you don't staff it the right way, people can be overshadowed. So I would say with my mentoring group, which I look forward to bringing on, I'm actually doing a podcast episode with one of my mentees. We're not going to necessarily talk about roses and crown her, but we will bring up some of it. But that group is about 20 girls, and it's me and about 3-4 other mentors. That's a conducive group. And if I want to do one-on-one mentoring, I have enough mentors, I can do that. That's the same with anybody else. Like the mentoring groups that have 300 and 500 people, they have to staff people to be one-on-one mentors, and that can be much. But if you have the resources and you have to know how to do that, it can work. But her mentoring group is doing awesome things. They're here in Columbia, South Carolina. So I'm going to bring her on to talk about why she mentors, what inspired her to mentor, and hopefully it inspires some of you. Not necessarily start your own mentoring group, because I don't think everybody needs to have their own mentoring group, but I do believe everyone needs to partner somehow, whether it's you be a mentor or you give some money. Because mentoring is expensive and it takes money. Whether it's resources, like one thing that I love, that because I've been doing this so long, one of my former mentors, because of her professional career, she's not able to help out the way she used to, but she randomly texted me, which I need to follow up with her. And it was like, whenever you need meals, I got you. I will sponsor a meal for the girls. Because when we have meetings, we have meals. Sadly, we can't partake of that just yet, because we're meeting in Richland Library, and Richland Library won't let you have cooked meals in their meeting rooms. We have to have snacks. That's a bummer to me, because my girls like to grow up. We all like to grow up. But again, Tracy Oakman, season 2, episode 2, 8:00, Tuesday on the 21st. Tune in to Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. And that's it, y'all. So again, here are my different platforms you can find me on. Again, you can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube. You can also find me, as far as social media is concerned, you can find me on Blue Sky. Did I mention iHeart? I'm on iHeart too. Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. That's another one some of y'all underestimating. LinkedIn is a great, great resource. LinkedIn, Pinterest, Threads, TikTok until it goes away, and then YouTube. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you're on Facebook and IG, I will keep it up I need to learn to stop touching my table, because the more I touch the table, it's shaking the camera. I'm noticing that now. And I noticed that before, but I wasn't doing anything. Stop it. So it will stay up on Facebook for 24 hours. And then you can access it on YouTube, and then all the different audio platforms that I told you about, like Spotify, iHeart. But thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.